morning. Y'all join me in the invocation this morning. Heavenly Father, we're thankful for this day, and as always, we're grateful for an opportunity to serve you and our county. We especially pray over this new year, Father, that you would bless all that we do, bless our residents here in the county. Father, help it to be a prosperous and exciting new year. We do want to lift up the Thompson family that lost a father and husband, and just ask you to minister to that family during this time, be close to them. Again, Lord, we're thankful for all you do for us, and we do pray in Jesus' name. Amen. Amen. Y'all join me in the pledge to the United States flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Now the Texas flag. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible. Our first item today is under the announcements section. This is recognition of Harrison County retiree Janice Huffman from the county. Well, she was a deputy tax clerk at the tax assessor's office, and we're going to congratulate her on 10 years and 3 months to the citizens of Harrison County. So thank you, Ms. Huffman. If you'd like to come up, we'll present you a retirement certificate. Don't have any public comments today. We do have a quorum present. Present voting precinct 1 is Commissioner Hatfield. Precinct 2 is Commissioner Timmons. Sims presiding. Precinct 3 is Commissioner Malden. And Precinct 4 is Commissioner Ebarb. It is 9:04 a.m. here on the second day of January 2024. We're gathered in the historic courthouse here in downtown Marshall. First item is from our auditor's office. Good morning, Ms. Haynes.
Good morning, Judge, Commissioners. You should have a copy of the November 2023 financials. If you'll refer to page 1, it will reflect that the county has fund balance of $23,962,575. Please keep in mind these are unaudited and unadjusted financials. On page 2 is a summary of the general fund. As of November 2023, we have collected $2,011,719 in comparison to $1,372,691 in FY23. That's an increase of $639,028 or 46.55%. From the expense standpoint, we have spent $4,037,374 in comparison to $3,809,787. That's an increase of $227,587 or almost 6%. On page 3 is a summary of the net position as of 2024, November 23 for FY24. We have spent $2,025,656 more than what we have collected in revenue in comparison to FY23 in November of 22, which was $2,437,097. On page 4 is a summary of the Road and Bridge Fund. As of November 2023 for FY24, we have collected $566,425 in comparison to $420,199. That's an increase of $146,226, or 34.8%. From an expense perspective, we have spent $546,581 in FY '24 in comparison to $590,210 in FY '23. From a net perspective for the Road and Bridge Fund, on page 5, we have collected $19,843 more in revenue than what we have spent in FY '24, in comparison to having spent $170,011 more than what we had collected in revenue. On page 6 through 10 is a summary of the revenue by department in comparison to current year budget. On pages 11 through 15 is a comparison by department for budget for FY '24, for FY '24. On page 16 is a summary of our debt, which reflects zero debt. And that's all we have for the report.
Any questions for Ms. Haynes on our financial report? If not, we'll move on to item number 1. This is consideration and approval regarding line item transfers.
You should have a copy of line item transferring $1,985.83 between funds and line items.
Is there a motion to approve?
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Timmons, second by Commissioner Malden. Any questions or comments? All in favor? Aye. Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, motion passes 5-0. Item number 2 is consideration and approval of payment of regular bills.
I'm requesting payment of $401,007.56.
Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Hatfield, second by Commissioner Ebarb. Any questions on our payment of regular bills? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, that passes 5-0. And number 3 is consideration and approval of payroll for December 22, 2023. Is there a motion to approve?
Motion. Second.
Motion by Commissioner Hatfield, second by Commissioner Timmons. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, motion passes. Thank you, Ms. Haynes.
Thank you. Y'all have a great day.
Next up is our Road and Bridge Department. We'll hear first administrative report from Mr. Davis. Good morning.
Good morning, Your Honor, Commissioners, how y'all doing?
Morning.
Hope y'all had a good New Year's.
Sir.
So y'all should have a bi-weekly report, shop report in front of you from 11/28 to 12/26. From this same time frame, we've issued 83 road permits. Rayford's Tractors continuing to work on Airlight, Macedonia, and they plan on starting on Mount Pleasant Cutoff on the priming. They still got quite a bit to do on Airlight, and they definitely got some touching up to do on Macedonia. And I have spoke with him each and every day, pushing him in that direction.
Has he been back down on one on Old Town?
No, he's still got to prep Old Town too.
So you're staying on top, and he's not gonna get it fogged till you're satisfied that.
That's right.
Okay.
He actually sent in some invoices, which I'm holding up till he gets it done.
I think we need to.
And along those lines, I'd like to, we've got the bulk of that already paid for. He's already submitted invoices for most of all those projects, and I'd rather, I'm not sure what the terms in our contract, if we're obligated to pay that much up front, but I'd sure like to hold back.
Yeah, we
on-
still got a pretty significant amount held back on.
All right.
When I looked at it though, on the rebuilds, it's less than $150,000.
No, on Macedonia, there's still 107,000. Airlight's 167,000. Old Town's right at 30,000. Of course, Mount Pleasant's like 48,000.
Okay.
And he's drawed out of Old Town all but $30,000.
That's right.
He will never come back and finish that road. I'm here to tell you right now, Luke. That's
Well,
the
he
best
did
we're
better.
gonna get out of that contractor on that road. That is an absolute disgrace.
Well, we still owe him a lot more, so we'll hold up
Yeah.
all payments until we get that done. Don't
That's
sweat
right.
that.
What's his warranty period?
1 year.
Okay. We appreciate what you've done, Luke. I know you, like you've told me more than once, you can't hold a gun on a man and make him do the work, but
That's right.
I appreciate what you've done.
It's good just to know that you're day-to-day staying on top of it and conveying to him that.
Well, I keep pushing, promise you that.
Well, I want to thank you and Lisa both for staying on top of that. Lisa's
We
made
appreciate
several
that.
trips down there on Old Town to take a look at what's going on and report it back to you and our foremans. And, I mean, we've done everything we can, Luke, and I appreciate
We've
it.
done our share.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Mr. Davis.
You're welcome. And other than that, we routine maintenance, we're doing a lot of overlays, installing cross pipes, picking up trees. We're finally starting to see a little bit of head wave on the trees, finally. But there's still quite a few out there, so just be patient with us. We will get them picked up eventually. That's all I have on the administrative report.
All right, on to item number 1 on the Road and Bridge is consideration and approval of personnel changes for Harrison County Road and Bridge Department.
There's been 1 new hire, 1 retirement, and 1 promotion since our last meeting.
Is there a motion to approve?
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Malden, second by Commissioner Timmons. Any questions or comments on the personnel report? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, motion passes 5-0. Item number 2 is consideration approval of the utility application submitted to the Harrison County Road and Bridge Department as follows. Rockcliffe Energy Operating LLC on County Road 1202, which is Old Town Road. Gum Springs Water Supply Corp. on County Road 3531, which is North Page Road.
Yes, sir, Cliff Energy on Old Towns, it's just a water line for servicing wells, and Gum Springs is a new water service for single service on Page Road, and they've both been inspected, and they meet our standard specifications outlined in our utilities application.
Is there a motion to approve?
Motion.
Motion by Commissioner Malden, second by Commissioner Ebar. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, motion passes 5-0. Number 3 is consideration and action to rescind order number 2023-470 for private road issuance, order number 75-PR3722 due to a clerical error and road number duplication.
Yeah, that's right. While updating our routine map book, we come across this road number was already issued, so we're asking to rescind this order to approve a new assurance for a new number.
Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Hatfield, second by Commissioner Ebarb. Any questions or comments? All in favor?
Luke, is this something that we found out while we're working with East Texas Council of Government on the new 911 system, or is it just something random?
Yeah, this was something that was random on our part,
It was my fault. I don't know how I managed that, but I did.
but
Okay,
it was our fault.
yeah. Well, I've received several phone calls from COG on some mapping issues, and I passed it along to you guys on it. I think there were some questions about wear addition and some other things like that, so I just thought maybe it might have been something they done.
Yeah, we've come across several different items on redoing this whole system, but we're finally getting it in order.
Looking forward to that changeover.
Any other questions or comments? We got a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, motion passes 5-0. Number 4 is consideration and approval of road issuance order number 76 for private road number 3723 located in precinct 3, approximately 1,065 feet southwest of the intersection of Walker's Mill Road, which is County Road 3705, and Hardy Holcomb Road, which is County Road 3710, running northwest off of Walker's Mill Road in the Mill Creek Estates subdivision.
Motion approved.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Malden, second by Commissioner Timmons. Any other questions or comments? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, motion passes 5-0. Number 5 is consideration and approval of the county maintenance certificate as of December 27, 2023 for Harrison County Road and Bridge Department.
Yes, sir, this is the annual approval of miles of road that is under the Harrison County Road and Bridge Maintenance. There have been no changes to our miles and maintenance. Of course, we've got Sweet Pea Lane that is added to it, but it won't be under road and bridge until 12/20 of 2024 when the bond's released on it.
All right, is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Hatfield, second by Commissioner Timmons. Any questions or comments? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, motion passes 5-0. Thank you, Mr.
Thank you.
Davis. On to our Sheriff's Department. Sheriff asked to defer his administrative report till next time, so we'll move on to item number 1. Is consideration and action regarding the approval and acceptance of the 2024 Chevrolet Silverado 1500 work truck 4x2 crew cab. That's our weight and measures truck. Is there a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Hatfield, second by Commissioner Timmons. And this was one of our lease trucks from Enterprise. I can't believe it's been 4 years already, but evidently it has been. So, we're in the process of replacing several of these, initial leases. Motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, motion passes 5-0.
Question.
Yes, sir. Sorry.
On a lot of these trucks that, these Silverado 1500s that would have gone to Road and Bridge, we had to switch them out to a different type truck. Are we still gonna get this same type truck here? I was just wondering.
Sure, so they looked for this truck in the fleet vehicles, and I think they couldn't find one. You might correct me, Dwight, I'm not sure if you know. It's really more of a Hilton question. But I believe they looked for this truck, couldn't find one, so they had to buy this one just off a lot. It wasn't in a fleet package, but I think the price was virtually the same.
That's my understanding on that.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
So they shop that fleet group first, and then if they can't find it, they just go looking on individual lots.
All right.
Enterprise does or we do?
Both. It's their job, but I think Hilton was helping them look too. All right, on to our maintenance department. Mr. Brad Thomas is not in here this morning, but you guys know that he's been busy remodeling restrooms in the main courthouse, remodeling the upstairs over in the annex, and then also working down here in our museum. They've been steady at it. Nothing from our IT department. On to purchasing. Good morning, Ms. Harkins.
Morning, Judge, Commissioners.
Item number 1 is consideration and approval of the award of bid number 2023-16, the RFQ to Kamak Funeral Homes LLC for the removal and transport of remains of deceased persons for Harrison County and direct cremation for Harrison County deceased paupers.
We had one bid. In that bid, the pickup is $200. The storage fee is no charge. It's $2 per mile for delivery. Body bag is $35, and cremation is $300.
Very good. Is there a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Got a motion by Commissioner Timmons, second by Commissioner Ebarb. Mr. Kamak, thank y'all for taking care of us here at the county, and another successful bid. We appreciate it. Any other questions or comments? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, motion passes 5-0. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sir. Next up, under new business, item number 1 is consideration and action regarding the approval of the resolution of support for a county motor fuel tax exemption. I'd like to ask this is County Judge Travis Ransom. If you guys hadn't met Judge Ransom from Cass County, happy for y'all to get to meet him. newly on the job here for a couple of years now, is that right?
It's been 17 months.
17 months, all
But
right.
who's counting,
But it's
right?
getting, seems like a lifetime.
Good morning, Judge.
Good morning, Commissioners and Judge.
Thank you for allowing me to speak today on this. This is a non-binding resolution of support for a proposed piece of legislation. The great thing, welcome to 2024, the great thing about 2024 is we're not in legislative session. So we're safe for the time being until the next special, right? But in 2025, we're headed into the 89th regular legislative session. And last session, a piece of legislation adjusted the motor fuels tax exemption, and that's where I got the idea that, and really just learned that counties aren't exempt. I had no idea. I spent 11 years in the legislature as a staffer working for Senator Kevin Eltife, and then was mayor of the city of Atlanta for a while, and then now I'm the county judge over in Cass County. And as I read the statute, I realized that school districts are exempt from the motor fuels tax, so all the school buses, they're buying tax-free fuel. But everyone else is paying 20 cents per gallon, including your county sheriff, all those vehicles. And if you're a county similar to Cass County in that you've got about 900 square miles of ground to cover, I've got 938 square miles, so we're right there with you. And we're burning up a lot of fuel. So the motor fuels tax was implemented in 1991, that's the last time it was changed, and it's 20 cents per gallon. So if you do the easy math, figure out how many gallons of fuel you burned last year and multiply it by 20 cents, and it's going to be a significant chunk of change for your county and your county budget. To me, it's tax churn, which is a kind of a phrase that I've coined, but it means that one taxing entity is taxing another, and then they're turning around and giving you your money back in a different format. You know, we looked at Senate Bill 22 last session, which gave counties under 300,000 a break and gave us some money for county sheriffs and for investigators in our DA's office and things. But this is a state tax that they're charging us, and we're enforcing state law. And so I feel like it's just tax churn. There's some parasitic loss or administrative cost to administering this tax. And what's the worst thing that the legislature can say is no. And so I want to ask them, we've got a draft piece of legislation that would exempt all counties from the county tax, and that's our opening position. Should they push back on that and say, well, that's too big a fiscal note, it's going to cut us too deep, we can show them the stats that are their own stats. Those are from the comptroller's office, which shows the growth in the motor fuels tax year over year. But we could also back it off to counties with populations less than 300,000 or less than 100,000. We can do a bracketed piece of legislation should we get any pushback. This will be heard in the Senate Finance Committee, which Senator Hughes is on, our state senator. It will be on the House Ways and Means Committee, which Cole Hefner is a Northeast Texas legislator I've already talked to about this piece. And so I feel like we'll have sponsors in both the Senate and the House to sponsor this legislation, but I want to come at them with a broad base of local support for this and demonstrate the support at the local level for this piece of legislation. I'm happy to answer any of your questions, and I appreciate your time today.
So has the response from Senator Hughes and Representative Hefner been positive?
Their doors
like
are
it?
wide open, absolutely. They're willing to discuss it, and they understand that there's usually people are coming to them asking them for money, and we're not really doing that. We're saying, hey, just exempt us from this tax so that this money is not trickling from the counties to the state and then being filtered and then sent back to the counties. This is to me, it's a common sense legislation, but common sense is not so common in Austin sometimes.
Are any schools that are exempt, are they exempt by any statute as far as size or?
No, all public schools are exempt. And what's ironic about that is that schools receive 25% of the taxes raised in the county. So according to that slide, which is from the comptroller's website, 50% go to the state highway fund, and then 25% go to the schools, and the remaining 25% they get a carve out, and then up to a certain amount of dollars, and then the rest goes to federal or state highways. But the schools get 25% back, and they don't pay anything in. So that's interesting. Also exempt are volunteer fire departments, and that's something a lot of my volunteer fire departments didn't realize. So they're buying fuel. They're paying 20 cents a gallon for every gallon of gas they put in a brush truck or a fire vehicle. they can get that money back by documenting the volume and submitting a form to the comptroller's office to receive that back. And so we've started doing that in Cass County with our volunteer fire departments, and they've been real appreciative of that because it was something they just didn't know about before.
So with this tax, it seems like they're charging us a tax, and then somewhere down the line, they'll give the money back to make it look like they're doing something for the county, but they're not doing anything, but just funneling your money back to you.
You got it. That's what I call tax churn. That's right. I mean, when you go to the retail stores here and you buy something for the county, you're tax exempt on sales tax, I think, right? So that's a great example of, but if they charged you a sales tax and then turn around and gave you money down the road, well, then there's administrative loss in collecting that tax and trying to account for it and then sending it back. And this would just cuts out the middleman and just lets us keep more of our money local.
Kind of like money laundering in a way.
I know. Yes. Yeah. I didn't know anything about money laundering before I was in government.
I see this being a tough sale because you're talking about 25% of the state total, and that's going to your school funds, and we all know what they've done to school funds. So I don't know if, in my mind, if we're gonna see them give up that amount of money that's allocated to the permanent school fund.
Right.
Because if you take it out, somebody's got to figure out how to put it back, and they've already depleted it to the point where they're not taking care of their responsibility anyway. So to me, I don't believe it'll pay.
It may not.
I hope it does.
It may not. I think when you're looking at the total revenue for the fuel tax, fiscal year 2022 was $3.7 billion, which is kind of a drop in the bucket for the whole state. The state budget is about $800 billion. And so 3.7 billion is the motor fuels tax. Our expenditures, like in my county, it'll save us about $20,000 to $25,000 a year to our county. So it's not a significant amount. Now I know that adds up, but that $25,000, if it was in the corner, we'd wrestle for it. I'd wrestle you for it because every dime matters. I don't know that the impact will be that significant to the state, especially if they bracket the legislation and go to a 300,000. But like I said, the worst they can say is no, and it's something we never worked on when I was when I was a staffer, because no one ever asked, and I didn't understand the tax policy at the time from the perspective of the county judge looking at the budgets all the time, and so now that I'm in this new role, I see opportunities to try to streamline some things.
Very good. One quick question for Lisa at Road and Bridge. About how many gallons a month do we order in fuel, ballpark?
Just going off of what I see on the invoices, normally it's anywhere between 7,000 to 10,000. I would think that we pay probably about $60,000 a year over the course of a year in that tax.
Okay.
We used to book 100,000 gallons, wasn't it, of regular gas?
That we got from TASB.
90,000 of diesel.
That's,
Yeah, just a few years ago, and then we got away from it and went back.
so on 100,000 gallons, that'd be $20,000. So very similar to what Cass County's
But
doing.
you're still gonna have diesel and
Gasoline, that's right. I was just curious
And the
ballpark.
20 cents per gallon is on your road diesel and your gasoline.
So it's the same
It's the
both?
same. It's 20 cents flat, 20 cents per gallon on both of those. So you're paying that on your road diesel. Now, off-road diesel, if you're using it for motor graders or tractors or whatever, that's tax-free diesel you can get. So you probably are running 2 tanks, one for on-road and one for off-road use, or no?
I don't think
Oh.
we run off-road.
Okay,
I don't think.
okay, so okay.
Would be significant to us.
Is this something that we just asking counties to do, or have you gone through TAC to see if they could support us on this?
Yes, I've talked with TAC. Noe Barrios is the legislative director for TAC, and he's reviewed this legislation and given me positive feedback. And we've talked with their legislative team, and they haven't developed their legislative priorities for the next year, but I feel like they've been very willing to review and assist in all this. Yeah,
Let me ask you a question.
sure.
A lot of times out through the course of the year, some So if they're not, if this were to pass, it would be cut off on delivery, I assume, when it was delivered and dropped in our tanks. But you can go back and reclaim.
You bet.
What's been on a credit card, say with Exxon or Valero, whoever it is, EFCO. It's just a little more paperwork in it, but you can
It's a-
actually get that refunded off.
It is, and I may have a form here. It's a one-pager. It's a very simple form, and it's the same form that the school districts and the volunteer fire departments can use now. They submit a one-page form that says, we use this many gallons, we pay taxes on, here are the receipts, and they get a refund back from the comptroller. And they can claim that up to 12 months in arrears. So it's on a 1 year. So if you don't claim it within a year, you're done. But you can go back at least 12 months on that for those that are tax exempt.
One time, or does it have to be every time? Like every month, when we pay our winter fleet cards for fuel, can we submit a one-time form saying, hey, we're tax exempt, or do we do it every time?
You can do it either quarterly or monthly, however, whatever your pace is. The comptroller doesn't care as long as the substantiated documents are there. But they don't stipulate that you have to claim it monthly or quarterly or annually. I just know that you can only go back 12 months. So whatever works in your administrative, battlefield rhythm. Yeah. But it's a fairly simple form. And I thought I might have a copy of it. I don't. But it's a one-pager. So, when the school districts go to some conference and they're driving their passenger vehicle, their Suburbans, they pay at the pump down in Austin or somewhere and pay the 20 cents. They can get that back when they just submit a form. And so the same would be true for counties. Should this pass, the same would be true for us. You bet.
Very good. Any other questions? You guys have had an opportunity to review this resolution. Is there a motion to approve?
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Ebarb, second by Commissioner Timmons. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, motion passes. Thank you, Judge, for coming and sharing with us.
Thank you very much. I appreciate the support. And it's nice to meet you all.
You too.
You
Happy to
got a
have you.
bunch of good folks to work with in Cache County.
I do.
Yeah.
We have a good team. And, yeah.
Good deal.
Yeah.
Well,
If I can teach them how to wear ties, they don't look like you guys. They still come in ball caps and what's that?
Twice a month.
Twice a month. I got you. Thank you, gentlemen. Appreciate it.
Thank you, sir. On to item number 2 is consideration and approval of the 2023 through 2024 annual contracts and authorization of payment of budgeted amounts in FY 23-24 budget for the contract and authorization for the county judge to execute said contract for ESD 145 and ESD 6, 7, and 8.
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Ebarb, second by Commissioner Malden. Any questions or comments on these contracts? All in favor? Aye. Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, motion passes 5-0. Item number 3. Number 3 is consideration and action regarding the approval of a resolution of intent to establish the Harrison County PACE program as set forth in the Texas Local Government Code, Chapter 399, and to set a public hearing for January 16th, 2023 at 9 a.m. for discussion regarding said program and publication in the local newspaper and Harrison County Economic Development website. So you guys have had a chance to review this. This comes from some legislation that the state has passed. It is basically a program that allows a business to make a loan for energy efficient improvements. They can borrow money from a local bank or any bank and any willing bank to make improvements to their air conditioners, their any fixtures or machines, any processes that they may have that could be improved on their energy efficient side, and they use those savings to fund the repayment of the loan. Where the county becomes involved is in the lien on the property. We could create a tax lien. There's am I using the right word? A lien filed in the county clerk's tax office on that property for the amount similar to a mortgage. You get a mortgage on your home. That paperwork gets filed in the clerk's office. There's a lien on your property until the mortgage is paid. Similarly, this lien gets filed in our clerk's office, lien on the property for the improvements, and if the lien holder, if the company defaulted, our tax attorneys, MVBA, would be involved in helping collect that, which I've spoken with Ms. Vaughn about it. She says it's highly unlikely. She's been involved in a number of these. She reviewed all of this paperwork and made some, just a few minor adjustments, and she was happy with the resolution, which we're just today, where this resolution is just like, hey, we're gonna look at it, and at our next meeting would be when some real binding work would come. But she's reviewed it all and believes it's a reasonable thing to do to support businesses in our county. This is coming from Republic Cabinets, who's interested in using this program to make some improvements at their site. Any questions?
This also includes large apartment complexes, correct?
I think it can be any business, that's right,
It's not just,
not just an industry. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Was that a second, Commissioner Timmons? Motion by Commissioner Hatfield, second by Commissioner Timmons. Any questions or comments? And I do just want to thank Ms. Charlene Haydinger from the Texas PACE program for coming, and she's willing to answer any questions if we have any. But hopefully I did a fair job of explaining it. Mr. Robinette? Yep, that's exactly right. So in our item number 3, our public hearing will be, won't be last year. It'll be this year, January 16th, 2024. Thank you, Mr. Robinette. We'll have you start reviewing all our stuff. Did anybody else in here catch that? Y'all let me read right through that, didn't you?
Who's just sitting here? I looked right at it.
Any other questions or comments? We got a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, motion passes 5-0. Thank you, guys. That brings us to our last item, a motion to adjourn. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Hatfield, second by Commissioner Malden.